Welcome, welcome, welcome to our first calculator lab for Algebra 2. We're just going to learn how to put in, whoops, sorry, that was my finger in there. We're just going to learn how to put in regular math problems into our calculator for our first thing. So we're going to start with turning our calculator on, and my screen lights up, but yours probably doesn't, depending on which one you got. What we're doing is in our Algebra 2 book, we're going to do page 18. And if you're taking this as a class, pretty much every Friday, instead of having regular homework, you're going to watch one of these videos and then you're going to do what it says. And it's a very light day for Friday, so you could do it on Thursday and take Fridays off if you want. But learning how to use these TI-84 graphing calculator is super, super important. It is the calculator that is allowed on the SAT, the ACT, and in college math. There are calculators out there that do more for you, but they don't let you use them. This is old technology and it is not intuitive. But it's good technology, and the better you get at this calculator, the better you're going to do on those tests and how better you're going to do in college, because this calculator will do a lot for you. Now, if you did not have me for Algebra 1, you might want to go back and watch the Algebra 1 videos also as they're released so that you can do everything that you would have missed in Algebra 1. I haven't recorded and uploaded the Algebra 1 graphing calculator labs for the year. I will release one each week. So for you Algebra 2 students, you might want to go and do the Algebra 1 graphing calculator lab to make sure you can do it, or at least watch the video and do it along with it, and then do the Algebra 2 one also. Now this is really easy, and if you've had a graphing calculator at all, you already know this. And so that brings me to my next point. Sometimes you'll be tempted to not watch the video. You're like, oh, I can just figure it out. I'll read it and figure it out. Go ahead and watch the video, because a lot of times I will tell you more what your calculator can do than your book. Sometimes your book is afraid to let you know all the calculator will do because they're afraid that you won't learn your algebra and you'll just use it to cheat. I want you to know everything this calculator can do. You're not going to use it to cheat. You're going to use it to check your work when you get to the SAT, the ACT, and to your college math. So I want you to know what it can do. I'm not going to try to keep stuff from you the way the book wants to. So be sure to watch the videos. I'll tell you how to use your calculator to the fullest extent of the law. It's not really cheating because they allow you to use these calculators, and the person who knows how to use it better will make the better score. And I want you to make a good score. All right. So if you're doing this class, turn to page 18. If you're not, you can learn this. You don't have to do the class. So what this page is showing us is that how you enter numbers into a calculator is different if it's a regular scientific calculator or if it's a graphing calculator. Now, if you've got a regular scientific calculator, I'm not going to address that. I'm just going to address how you put this into a graphing calculator. Okay, so this is what we're going to put in. And it starts with a negative sign. When things start with negative, then you use this button down here. If it's got a negative in the middle that's not in parentheses, you use the minus sign. This one's negative, that one's a minus. And I tell kids how you can remember it is that minus and middle both start with the letter M. That's convenient. So we're going to put this in. So we're going to start with -3, and then we're going to put it to the second power. So I'm going to push negative and then 3. And now it needs to go to the second power. How you put it in this is two different ways. If it's just to the second power, the best thing to use is this x squared button. And there it is. See how it's to the second power? Now I'm going to erase it. I'm going to go back, and delete it. See DEL, that's delete. Okay, so now I'm back to -3. The other way you can do it is up arrow 2. And that did it also. But it's better if it's squared to use this button, x squared. The reason why is, notice where my cursor is. it's up in exponent land. And before I do any more math, I have to arrow over and get back to numerator land. If I forgot and just put plus 4, do you see it's up here and you're going to get the wrong answer. Oops, sorry about that. So I'm going to delete that because I don't want that up there. And I'm going to use my arrow over so I can get back down to numerator land, not denominator land. And now I'm going to put in my plus 4, and there it is. All right, if you did it, and I'm going to hit enter, and enter is equals, so enter, and it tells me my answer is -5. And somewhere over here I can check it. Where did, oh, over here. I'm like, where's the answer? There it is, -5. Woohoo, we got it right. Always cheer for yourself when you get it right. I'm going to do it one more time with the x squared button. -3 squared. See how it's back down? The cursor automatically went down. Plus 4. Enter, -5. All right, so the next one we're supposed to do is this one. Beginning parentheses, -3 in parentheses squared. So notice that, okay, let's talk about what we did mathematically. -3 squared is -3 times -3, which is +9. +9 plus 4 is +13. But notice the answer is -5, and this is why. Your calculator doesn't understand that the negative went with the 3. It thinks that what you're doing is you say that there's an understood -1 times 3 squared. 3 squared is 9 times an understood -1 is -9. -9 plus 4 is -5. So if you want it to square -3, you have to tell your calculator that the negative goes with the 3. And how we do that is parentheses. Here are our parentheses buttons. So we do beginning parentheses. I'll back up. -3. See how it looks? In parentheses right here. And now we can say squared. So this time it knows that the negative is not an understood -1 sitting with it next to a +3, that it is a -3 that's being squared. And now we say plus 4, and the answer is 13. So this is something a little different from back in the 80s, the dark ages, when I did this, is if that you didn't have to put those parentheses there. But it's because of these calculators, and the calculators sometimes have a hard time understanding what we want, that now we put those parentheses there so we can tell the calculator what to do. All right, let's do C. To check it, there it is, 13. Yay, we got it right. Okay, so now let's do C. It's parentheses 24 divided by 2 cubed. So beginning parentheses 24, it wasn't negative yet, divided by 2 in parentheses. Oops, I wasn't looking what I was doing. I'm going to do, they did it that way. Divided by sign, it did the slash 2, and now it needs to be to the 3rd power. We don't have a to the 3rd power button over here, so this time we go up arrow, so we're up in exponent land, 3, and that is our problem. 24 divided by 2 to the 3rd power. And notice it doesn't do the divided by sign like what is written here. It uses the fraction bar to mean divided. So we say enter, and the answer is 1,728. And then we check it in the book, 1,728. Yay, go us. Okay, let's do D. Okay, now D has got a little bit of stuff to it. If we just put it in like this, 5 divided by 4 plus 3 times 2, enter, we got 7.25, but the right answer is 0.5. We got the wrong answer, and this is why. Our calculator didn't know if 5 was being divided by 4 or by the whole thing. There's 2 different ways that you can tell your calculator to divide it by the whole thing. The first one is this way. You do 5 divided by beginning parentheses 4 plus 3 times 2, end parentheses, enter, and there it is. But there's another one, and I like this other way better, because that looks messy to me. It's hard. It doesn't really put it in the denominator. It puts it after a slash. So especially when problems start getting really big, that's confusing to me. So what I like instead is this one. You do alpha, see that key right here? Alpha y equals, and up pops a shortcut menu. And the first choice on the shortcut menu is n/d. That means numerator divided by denominator. That means we want a fraction bar. So I hit enter, and now it gives me a little place to fill it in. I can put 5 in the numerator. I can arrow down and do 4 plus 3 times 2. And now I hit enter. And there's 1/2. And if you want it as a decimal, you can change it also to a decimal. But because I put it in as a fraction, it gave it to me a fraction. Notice there's another little thing I'll show you too. If you have 0.5 and you need to put your answers as a fraction, usually it's considered better to have answers as a fraction. And say you didn't know that 0.5 was 1/2, say it's something else, your calculator will put a decimal into a fraction for you. You go to this button that says math, which I think is funny because aren't they all math? So it's the ironic button. And the first one is arrow frac, which is turn it into a fraction. So I just hit enter to select it, and it says that 0.5 is 1/2. Now this time I want my 1/2 to be turned into a decimal. I don't actually have to rewrite this first. I can just go to the ironic button, math. I can go down to the next one. Arrow decimal means turn it into a decimal. I hit enter, and it says it's going to take the answer to the last problem and turn it into a decimal, and I hit enter, and there it is, 0.5. So it will convert between decimals and fractions for you. That would have been real handy back in middle school when you had to do that, wouldn't it, when you were memorizing those? But it wasn't a waste of time. But now your calculator will do it for you. All right, so you continue and do these problems down here. You're going to be doing the odds. Have fun with them. And make sure you can do them. Let's see if there's something we need to do here. Graphing. Oh, they want us to do this. 1 plus 4 to the 6th power. So we can do that one too. Beginning parentheses 1 plus 4, in parentheses, to the 6th power. And we got... is that the one I was supposed to do? Yep. 15,625. And I did that one because it was graphing, not scientific. Here's another graphing they want us to do. 3 times 5 minus 2. So 3 times 5 minus 2 in parentheses. You see that? Enter. And there's the answer 9. Now, this is something I need to tell you. Your calculator knows order of operations. So like say you've got this or that and you're like, okay, which one do I do first? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So it's parentheses and then it's exponents, then it's multiply, divide left to right, add, subtract left to right. But say you forgot that. If you type it in exactly in your calculator, it knows order of operation and it will give you the right answer. That's a nice thing to know for the SAT and the ACT and college entrance exams because they always have some of those order of operation problems and you might be panicky and forget. Don't worry about it. Your calculator knows how to do it. Put it in exactly and you'll get the right answer. Yay! So you're going to grow to love your calculator. So make sure you've got one and you will be getting one of these calculator labs pretty much every week. All right. See you next time. Math is great.